Hey Accuquilters, this is Darla from Sweet Stitches Quilt Shop, and I'm so excited because it's November and it's our month to be thankful for everything, all of our blessings, and we're just really thankful for you, our customers, because you guys are awesome. This month, or actually this month and next month together, we're going to be working on this really cool project. This one, isn't this great? So this is a wall hanging. You could actually use it as a table runner. You might want to finish the ends, both ends and the angles, or square off both ends. But what I did was I took some really cool patterns from Accuquilt, and I just changed up the colors a little bit to make these look like Christmas ornaments, and I think it turned out pretty cool. So anyhow, that's what we're going to be working on. And you are going to love it. So let me show you what we're going to be using. Our tools are going to be, we're going to be using the mix and match cube. Those are dies number 1 through 8, but you're really only going to be needing dies 2, 3, and 5. But you can do this with any size whatsoever because it's the magic of Accuquilt. So you can use it with your 6-inch, your 8-inch, your 9-inch, or your 10-inch cube because they all have the same exact shapes. They're just different sizes, which will affect how much fabric you need. But all the numbers that we have worked out for you are using the 8-inch cube. Now, if you're not familiar with what an Accuquilt cube is, it's the set of 8 dies. And actually 2 of them from this little section are here ready to be used. But it's a set of 8 dies that work perfectly together to make traditional blocks. And this is like my favorite thing with Accuquilt, or this. Between the strip cutters and the cube, you can do just about any kind of traditional piecing. It is awesome. And it comes with, in this little section here, you can see that it comes with a video, definitely worth your time to see. You can tuck your little cutting mat in here, and there's actually patterns in here as well. So anyhow, that's one of the tools we're going to be using for this project. And we can just put this aside. The other tool we're going to be using for this project is the Go Cube book by Eleanor Burns. If you got the Ready, Set, Go, like last year, then the book will look like this. It'll be blue, okay? And if you have the more recent edition, it will be pink. But there's very little difference between the two. It's just that when they came out with a new edition, they had added on the information for using the 10-inch cube in addition to all the other cube sets. So, but they're really great books. Totally recommend them. When you buy a cube, you get one of these, you get the book free. So that's just how Accuquilt does it. But if you already have a cube, you're not ready to buy a cube yet, you can buy the book by itself. Just wanted to tell you about that because those are the tools we're going to be using today. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to tell you that the email that includes this video also has a package of documents in it. And those are the documents that are going to have all the yardage requirements and all kinds of good information on there, so you don't have to stop and pause every time with the video, although you can do that. But a lot of that information is on there and just waiting for you. So just open up that packet and see what's in there. This pattern will work great with scraps. And if you're not interested in doing Christmas colors or Christmas ornaments, you can do it in any color way. It'll be just as beautiful. So don't hesitate to play with it, and you'll just have a lot of fun. So you're going to need dies number 2. That's the one with the small squares. You're going to need die number 3, and that's the one with the big half square triangles. And you're going to need die number 5, which is the one with the small half square triangles. And it's super easy. You're going to love it. Okay. All right. So first of all, one thing that I wanted to tell you is that you can actually make your block design and do your color placement very easily by photocopying a page from the book. And let me show you what that looks like. So the page from the book looks just like this, and you see how there's a suggested colorway. This is the Old Maid's Puzzle, and it has also the suggested colorway, but it also has this little black and white sketch on there. Just make a photocopy of that and just start playing with your placements of color by drawing with markers or crayons or colored pencils, and then you can come up with some really cool ideas. So basically I used this block to make this first block. You think it can you see that? I know it's kind of hard to figure that out, but what I was trying to do was find some that I thought mimicked the shape of an ornament, and you can do the same thing. You can use any of the patterns that are actually in your Accuquilt mix and match cube, and there are a bunch of them in there, and you can just come up with your own ideas. So what I did was, to make this one look sort of oval, was that I made the corners white so that it blended in with the background. And you can do the same thing by making all the corners, all four corners white, and then it makes it look like a circle. So there are all kinds of fun things that you can do with it, but what I'm going to give you instructions on are the ones that I did particularly in this project. So you can just follow along and decide if you want to do your own thing or if you want to use the one that I'm given instructions for. Okay, so the first one, the block number 1, is called the double cross, or the Old Maid's Puzzle. Okay, and it looks like this. It's in that Burns book, this book right here, and you can do it super easily by looking at this. You have 2 quadrants. There's this one quadrant here. Those are all the pieces that you're going to need, and this is the second quadrant. And what you'll do is you'll put those quadrants together, you'll assemble them, and I'll show you how they fit in here. So first of all, you're going to take your number 5, okay? And you run this white across your tummy, the white label, and you're just going to lay your fabric on there. And you can use, if you use a 6-inch white piece of fabric like I'm using here, you can cheat a little bit by folding that long piece of fabric like this in half. And then what I did is I pressed it so I had a nice crease, and then I didn't have to worry about it slipping and sliding in there. And you can just lay it on here like this, okay? So there are 2 layers, 4 layers, and you can cut 6 layers at one time. 6 layers times 2 shapes is 12 half square triangles with 1 pass through the machine. Okay, so here is the number 5 die, and I am going to put the fabric on. Now, okay, so I know that I always tell you to run it this way, okay? But because I'm going to have this hanging off this direction and I need my selvages to run this way through the machine, I'm going to turn it a quarter turn, okay? Don't let that mess you up. But that's just how I'm going to do it, so that, remember, that way I'm cutting the straight of grain this way, and that way my cuts will be accurate and we won't have to worry about them stretching. So there are my 6, just like that. So now I have 12 beautiful pairs of half square triangles, okay? Isn't that awesome? Love Accuquilt, it's great. So if I take 2 of those and just opposite colors like this, put them together like this, okay? And then I stitch from this corner to this corner. Then I have an accurate 1/4 inch seam allowance. That is how I'm going to check on my seam allowance with my first one that I piece under the sewing machine. Okay, I'm going to check to make sure that my stitch starts exactly on that little, let me flip it over and do the yellow side. So I'm going to start with this little corner and I'm going to end on that little corner. And if I don't, then I need to work on my seam allowance. Then each of those half square triangles, we're going to press the seams open. And actually on all of these blocks, we're going to press the seams open. Okay? So, okay, so now we have that. Now, if you happen to not have a cube, you can also use the value die for this project. And for the die number 5, this shape, you see how this shape is actually right here in the middle of your value die. So you can see that they're identical. So if you have the value die, you can still do this project. All right? Okay. So now let's see, next thing, the other shape we're going to be cutting is the 2.5 inch squares. This is your die number 2, right? It's super easy. You can actually, I love this because you can stack 6 layers on here. You don't need that many for this project. You can put 6 layers on here and you just lay them all on there with a selvage going parallel to the label. And you can cut 4 squares at one time, or with 6 layers, that's 4 times 6, that's 24. 24 squares at one time. Love it. Okay, so just like this. All right, got my label going this way. My selvage is going parallel to the label, just like this. And I can leave this fabric hanging off the back because there's all this extra space under my cutter and it's not going to damage my fabric at all. Okay, so the number of pieces that you need to cut are in those documents. Remember I told you about those documents that are attached to this video? All right, so look at these beautiful squares. So there you go, you have your 4 little squares. Super easy. Okay. And then the last die is also the big triangle. This is the number 3 die. And you're going to cut it the same way as the others, running it through this way. Now the one thing that's going to be challenging is you'll know that if you have the value die, it doesn't have this shape on it. But I'm going to show you how you can fudge it, okay? You can fake this. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So you can take, for this quadrant, for this particular block that we're making, you need, for this first quadrant right here, the one to the right, you need, this is your number 3, you need 3 number 5s, and you need a number 5 in the dark green, okay? So when you put them together, it will be like this, okay? It looks just like that. However, I want to show you how you can make this with these shapes that are on the value die. And also, if you're playing with your the different patterns, and I told you how you can color in, you can actually draw lines and come up with your own patterns with the Accuquilt. There are no rules. You know, it's your fabric, it's your cutter, you can do whatever you want. But you can make the same shape like this by putting these pieces together. You see there are 4 number 5s and they equal 1 number 3. Isn't that cool? I love it, how it all fits together so perfectly. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. If you need to make one of these, and you have to use a value die because that's what you have, you can do that. You just use 4 of these. Or alternatively, you can actually use 1 number 2 square here for these 2 half square triangles and add the half square triangles, kind of like wings. I think of them as wings. Okay, I hope that helps you. All right, so for this first block, you're going to need 2 of this. If I cover this up, can you see that one? If I cover this up, can you see that one? you're going to make 2 of this one. You can see it's on that side too, just in reverse. And then you're also going to need 2 of this one. Okay, so here are the parts that you need to make it. You see that? And then here is the other one that you're going to make. Let's put it under the other camera. So you're going to need to make 2 of this one. So here's the first one. You need 2 of this one, and you need 2 of this one. All right? Okay, so the second one that we have to make today is the one in the middle, the one that looks like a round ball. I tried to make it look like one of those really cool 3-dimensional ones that has the center, you know, the glass ones like back when we were kids. And but I thought the colors would be fun to make sort of like poinsettia-ish. So that's why I chose these kind of colors for it. Okay, so this one is called Mosaic number 15. And it looks so complicated, but it's so easy. Let me pull this down for you so you can see it. All right. Okay, so this is the similar, because this one also is done in quadrants, but it's so easy because you're going to have a red and a green half square triangle together, and you have one on this side too, and you have a green and a white, and you have a different color of red with a different color of gold. Okay, and you're going to put that together to look like this. Okay, just like this. And then when you lay this in the middle, you can see how this goes right here. You see that? And you're just, by making 4 of this identical quadrant, all you have to do is place them so that the yellow is in the center. Can you see how that works? Isn't that cool? Super easy. And isn't it cool how when you just make that little white in the corner, on the outside corner of this block, that it makes like that white disappear into the background, so it makes it like a big circle. All right? Okay, so the last one we're going to do is called Hovering Hawks. Now this is the tricky one. Okay? So it's on all of these the first 2 you're assembling them in quadrants. But in this last one, none of the 4 quadrants are the same. Every single quadrant is different. So this one's the tricky one, and you need to assemble it in rows. So what you're going to do is, I recommend that you lay them all out on a table, and you use a pattern right in front of you. You have a pattern so that you can lay everything out correctly and in order. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this by your sewing machine, and you're going to take this. First you're going to make all of your half square triangles and put those together, and then you're going to lay it back out again on the table. Then you're going to take this square and lay it on this square and stitch from top to bottom like that. Then you're going to take the next one and do the same thing. Don't unhook them from your sewing machines, you just keep going. Sew the first pair together and run that through. Don't even cut your thread. Just take the second one and run that through. And by doing it like that in order, everything stays in place. And then when you have to cut it from your machine, everything is in order, and it's easy to figure it out and lay it back out again. Okay? So you're going to go down and you're going to put these 2 together like this. And then you're going to do the same thing, putting these together on this set. So then you have 2 columns of pairs, and then you're going to put those together into rows. So you're going to take this half and put it on top of this half all the way down, and then you have 4 nice rows that you can stitch together going down this way. So then you'll sew across this way. And then when you finish that it's going to be so cute because you're just going to press everything open, just like we said in the beginning. So anyhow, I'm excited about this next month when we come together on the third Thursday, as every third Thursday. You get to see, we're going to talk about how to finish your wall hanging, the Christmas ornament wall hanging. And it's super easy. The instructions are really easy to follow. But for now, I want you to work on making those 3 ornaments together and have fun with it, because that's the best thing about Accuquilt. It's fun. That's why we call it Go Play Day. So again, I'm really thankful for you all, because you're just so much fun and you're always so encouraging, and we share this love of Accuquilt. And I really hope that you have a blessed Thanksgiving. All right, I'll see you guys in December. Bye.